Hello, vintage outboard motor fans. This is T-Mike here in South Louisiana, making another video today. Today's video is going to be on the clutch dog shifter system inside the gear case of a vintage outboard motor. All right, so this video is going to have 5 parts to it. The first part, I'm going to give you a basic overview of the shifter clutch dog system shifter of a gear case. Just give you the basic overview, nothing in depth, just how it basically works. All right, then in the second part, we're actually going to remove a gear case from the existing motor. This motor has a problem jumping out of gear. I believe that the clutch dog inside of it is bad, so we're going to take the gear case off. All right, I'll show you how to remove it. All right, then the third part of this video, I'm going to take the gear case inside my shop. We're going to disassemble it, and I'm going to pull out all the inner workings, all the parts, and I'm going to describe each part inside that gear case and what they do, so you'll have an understanding. All right, and the fourth part, we're going to actually hopefully find a bad clutch dog shifter, and I'm going to show you an example of where the part wears out when it shifts. The common problem that you have if your motor's jumping out of gear is the clutch dog part wears, and I'm going to show you that worn part, hopefully. And then the fifth part, we're going to reassemble the clutch dog and show you how to put it back on the motor. All right, so it should be an interesting video. Hope you're all excited to see it. If everybody's ready, here we go. Alright, so here's part 1 of the video, is the basic overview of the gear case and the clutch dog shifter system. So here's a common gear case. I believe this is off of about a 10 horsepower or a 7.5 horsepower. They're all the same. This is a Johnson. So this is removed from the unit. Here's the drive shaft, goes up into the power head, and then here's the shift rod. All right, this shift rod is connected to the upper shift rod that goes up to the handle on your motor that shifts it. So when you turn that handle to forward, all right, it pulls it up and it moves the clutch dog inside here on the prop shaft to engage with the forward gear. When you put it down to the center, it goes in neutral. The clutch dog moves back to the center position and doesn't engage in either gear. When you move the handle to reverse, pushes it down and it catches the reverse gear. All right. Of course, you have the water pump, pumping water through a water tube up into the motor. With the clutch dog system that we're talking about right now is around this prop. Now, as part of the overview, I'm going to show you the parts inside this gear case laid out so you can get a better idea of how it operates. That's the basic overview. Okay, here are the internal parts of the gear case. There's the prop shaft, the clutch dog, which is this piece right here, has splines on it. It slides on here, and then the forward and reverse gears slide on the prop shaft. There's the shift cradle, fits over this. Then the shift rod has a cradle that fits on there, and then when you operate the shift rod up or down, it moves the clutch dog to forward and reverse as appropriately designed. All right, and these gears, this clutch dog goes inside the gear and catches that gear and spins it, and that's what wears out. These protrusions that catch on this right here, the gear either wears there are on the clutch dog. So that's all your basic parts of the internal gear case. Now, as I said, we're going to remove a gear case off of a motor that has a bad clutch dog, I believe, in it. I'll show you how to remove the gear case, take it apart, get down into the clutch dog, and hopefully find a bad clutch dog shifter. So if everybody's ready, here we go on that. All right, so what we have here is a 1963 10 horsepower Johnson. Customer brought this back to me for jumping out of gear. Says when he runs it at low speed it does fine, but when he gives it enough RPM it'll jump out of gear and jump back in gear. That's a common sign of a bad clutch dog. So now I'm going to show you how to remove the gear case. All right, first thing I'm going to do is take the prop off, the prop nut and the prop off. Then I'm going to take this cover off right here, and there's where the short and the long shift rod comes together. There's a coupling. You got to undo the coupling, and then there's 4 7/16 bolts right underneath here, and the prop comes right out. So here we go with removing the gear case from the outboard. That's how you remove a gear case from your outboard. Now let's take it in the shop and set it on my bench and take the lower unit, the gear case apart right here, and look for that bad clutch dog. Here we go. Okay, I've got the gear case here in my shop, all ready to tear apart. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the oil, remove these 2 drain screws, and drain the oil out of it. Set it in this direction so all the oil drains out. And I'm going to flip her over. And there's a pivot screw right here that the shift cradle pivots on. That's got to come out. It's a Phillips head, and then there's 6. These 6 screws that's got to come out. And then this lower skeg will pop right off and expose all the gears inside that we're looking at. And then we can just pop it right out and pull the shift cradle off and see if it's damaged. So if everybody's ready, let's get after it. Here we go. Alright, so all the bolts are removed. Now just a light tap with a screwdriver on this portion right here ought to loosen up the skeg. And there it is. Skeg is off. And it exposes all the gears right here. Now let's take a close look at it and see if we can see if where the problem is. Alright, here's the exposed gears. As I said earlier in the video, here's the 2 gears on the prop shaft. With the shift cradle right here, shift cradle should come right up. All right, there's a shift cradle, comes right up, or the shift rod, then the shift cradle comes right off of it. All right, we'll set that aside. Now there's the clutch dog that works back and forth. So now we got to remove everything from the so I'll take a screwdriver and I'll pry the shift rod up a little bit to make room, grab the prop shaft, and it comes right out. Whole inner workings, right? So we got to pull this gear off. Clutch dog comes right off. And let's examine the clutch dog. And look at the problem. See the wear right there? And the wear right here? There is the problem. If I can get a close-up of it for you. See the wear on those two sides? Now let's look at the gear, see if the gear is worn. Yeah, gear's got some wear too, see it? Right there. No wear on the reverse gear. Reverse gear looks fine. So I'm going to say that the clutch dog is bad and the gear is bad. I'm going to go find me a set of spares and replace them. Alright, I found in my eBay supplies a used clutch dog that doesn't have the wear that this one's got on it. It is used, but it's not as worn. And this one is also used but not as worn. So I got replacements. I'm going to slip the replacement clutch dog on. Slip the replacement forward gear on. And with the clutch dog with the shift cradle on, I'm ready to put her back in here. Remember, I got to put my pinion gear back in and then screw the cover back on, and we should be ready to go. Let's put that back together now. Okay, got her all back together now. I'm going to test her to make sure she shifts properly. Put me a vice grip on the end of the shaft here. And I'm going to spin it clockwise. Push the shift rod all the way down. This turns counterclockwise. Put it in neutral. Prop doesn't spin. Go all the way up. And the prop shifts clockwise. Right, so all the shifting's working. Got the clutch dog and the forward gear changed. Now I'm gonna put some gear oil in it, take her outside, and put her back on the outboard. Alright, I got the repaired gear case with the clutch dog replaced out here ready to put back in. I just want to clear up and mention that the forward gear that I show in the video putting in here didn't fit. It wasn't the right gear. So I went back and put the original forward gear back in there and just replaced the clutch dog. I think that clutch dog was the problem. I'm going to body test it and make sure, but anyway, here we go. We're going to put it back in. So I got to line up the water tube with the water tube inlet in there. I got to mount up the crankshaft splines first, then the water tube, and then the shift rod's got to go in the shift cradle and the shift connector. So I'll use a flashlight and get all that lined up. Here we go. All right, that's the finished project. That's how you change a clutch dog shifter in a vintage outboard motor, and an overview of how the clutch dog system works. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I know I did. See y'all next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Here at T-Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time. Please click on subscribe. I guarantee to provide weekly videos. Au revoir, mes amis, and laissez les bon temps rouler.